If Valve's new Steam machine starts at over $1,000, is Steam Frame going to be even more expensive? This is the question I can't stop thinking about, because Valve finally gave us a price for its new mystery box called Steam machine. But their VR headset is still missing this very important detail, and that could put Valve in a premium trap, where the hardware looks exciting, but the full ecosystem starts getting way too expensive for casual players. And while Valve still keeps Steam Frame price a secret, Meta, Snap, Acer, have a smart glass industry, and even the VR treadmill companies are all making major XR moves all at the same time. Welcome back. This is Tetiana discovers the latest and greatest VR news buzz. Before we get to Steam machine and Frame, I want to talk about Meta, because unlike Valve, who's keeping its next headset a mystery, Meta is doing the exact opposite. They're trying to make XR cheaper, more visible, and easier to try. Meta just launched a new Meta glasses line with Acer Luxottica starting at $299. These are cheaper smart glasses without Ray-Ban or Oakley branding, but they follow the same basic idea: AI glasses that can take photos, record videos, answer questions, translate, and help with hands-free tasks. That's an interesting strategy from Meta. Quest is still there for VR and mixed reality. Ray-Ban Meta and Oakley Meta are still there for lifestyle smart glasses. Meta Ray-Ban displays give the company a more advanced display option, at least for now. And now Meta glasses create a cheaper entry point for brand new users. It builds an interesting ladder. At the bottom, there are cheaper AI glasses, in the middle, there are some branded lifestyle glasses, and at the top, there's Quest, display glasses, and future mixed reality hardware. This is a very different strategy from asking one expensive, or even not so expensive, headset to carry the whole XR future by itself. And Meta is not only launching more glasses, but it's also putting XR directly in front of normal shoppers. The company is opening dedicated Meta Lab spaces inside more than 50 Best Buy stores across the United States and Canada. These are hands-on demo areas where customers can try Quest headsets, Ray-Ban Meta smart glasses, and Meta's display glasses. It's one of the most practical XR moves that just makes sense. XR is hard to sell through just screenshots. A phone can be explained on a product page, but VR and smart glasses, people actually need to try them. So Meta's move here is pretty clear. While the premium end of XR gets more expensive, Meta once again is trying to build a lower entry point and make the category easier to understand in real life. What do you think about this move? And that brings me to Snap. Snap has acquired Illumix, the augmented reality company that's best known for Five Nights at Freddy's AR special delivery app. Snap has already opened pre-orders for its new Specs AR glasses, and now it seems like it's buying a company with real AR experience to build for it. They understand that hardware alone would just not be enough, and a pair of AR glasses can have displays, cameras, chips, hand tracking, and a nice operating system, but people still need a good reason to wear them. And that, of course, is apps, games, spatial experiences that are actually useful, filters, social features, and practical tools that make the glasses feel alive and useful. Snap knows that better than most companies, because Snapchat helped make camera effects and AR filters cool years before the current smart glasses race. So the Illumix acquisition feels like Snap stocking up before the next round. Meta is bringing glasses to Best Buy, Snap is buying AR talent, and what about Acer? It's coming back too. It's returning to XR with new AR and AI smart glasses. This is interesting because Acer was part of the old Windows mixed reality era years ago, when a bunch of PC companies tried to enter VR through tethered headsets. That era faded, but Acer is coming back through a different door. Instead of a classic VR headset, Acer revealed the AR Vision GR0 display glasses with the GI0 AI glasses. The AR Vision GR0 are display glasses designed to give you a large virtual screen from a wearable device, and is starting at $499 in North America. Their AI glasses are closer to the smart glasses category, of course, with a camera, voice assistance, translation, and different AI tools. That is so interesting to me to watch. Seriously, companies that ignored XR for years are returning through glasses. They're looking at lighter devices, display glasses, AI glasses, camera glasses, and basically everything that was ridiculed before. There's also something related to that has to do with optics. Acer Luxottica and Applied Materials signed a long-term partnership to develop AR optics and AI-powered smart eyewear technology. Because, as you know, smart glasses live or die by the lenses. The display has to be bright enough, light enough, clear enough, and cheap enough. The glasses have to look normal enough too. They have to survive the daily use. They have to do all of that without turning into a heavy computer strapped to your nose. And that is not an easy thing to do. And what we see right now is one of the biggest eyewear companies in the world working with a major materials and chip equipment company on AR optics, and that tells me that the smart glasses race is really becoming a supply chain race. We'll see where it goes. Now back to our big question of this video, the Steam Machine, and its price that was finally revealed by Valve. The new Steam Machine starts at $1049 for the 512GB model, with a 2TB version at $1349. If you add the Steam controller, the total goes even higher, and Valve says that the device is sold around cost and that it is not subsidizing the hardware the way console companies do. And that makes sense from a PC gaming perspective, because Valve wants the Steam Machine to be an open living room Steam PC and not a lockdown console. But from the consumer perspective, at $1049 is still a very serious price, and that is where the premium trap comes in. Steam Machine may be fairly priced for what it is, but if the box starts above $1,000, the Steam Frame also lands in the premium territory. Valve's new hardware ecosystem could suddenly look exciting and very expensive at the same time. We know that Valve is preparing a new VR headset that connects into the wider Steam's hardware ecosystem. We know Steam Machine, Steam Controller, and Steam Frame all fit into Valve's bigger plan to make Steam more flexible across handheld, living room, and VR, but we still don't know the price. And after seeing Steam Machine start above $1,000, kinda makes you wonder whether Steam Frame will also land in that kind of premium category. Now, to be fair, that wouldn't automatically be unacceptable. PC VR has always had a premium side. Valve Index launched at $999 for the full kit in 2019, which included the headset, controllers, and base stations. Adjusted for inflation, that sits around $1,200 to $1,300 today. So if Steam Frame lands near that old premium tier, the number may not be shocking, but there's a catch. That comparison only works if Steam Frame includes everything that you need, or if it doesn't require any extra base stations or controllers. And if the headset price is high and you also need some extra accessories, and someone also wants the Steam Machine in their living room, the full setup could become very expensive very fast. This is the pressure that Valve now faces. Steam Machine gave us one answer, but it made the Steam Frame question even louder. And until Valve reveals the headset price, that premium trap is going to hang over the whole Steam hardware story. And Valve is not the only company dealing with this problem. Apple has reportedly raised the price of Vision Pro by $200, with the headset now starting around $3,700. The reported reason is the global memory and storage shortage, which is also affecting other consumer electronics. But remember that Vision Pro was already one of the most expensive consumer headsets on the market, so adding another $200 just makes this premium end of XR feel even more squeezed. And this is where the story gets bigger than Valve. The high end of XR is dealing with expensive chips, expensive displays, memory, expensive optics, and very limited mainstream demand. And at the same time, the cheaper end of the market has trained a lot of people to think that VR should cost somewhere near the Quest price range of $200 to $400. That creates a sort of a cognitive dissonance. Premium hardware may need premium pricing to exist, but premium pricing can also keep the audience small. And if the audience stays small, developers have a harder time building big software for it. And this is the real premium trap. There is at least some positive news about the accessibility of standalone VR. The Omni One VR Treadmill is now the first VR treadmill with official support for Meta Quest. Virtuix says it is bringing native Quest support to Omni One, which means the treadmill can work more directly with standalone Quest games instead of living only in the PC VR or custom headset world. Of course, we're still talking about an extremely niche VR product because they are expensive, they take space, they are not something an average Quest owner is about to buy on a random weekend. But official Quest support is still a very meaningful milestone, in my opinion, because for years VR treadmills felt like very futuristic Ready Player One type of accessories that existed outside of mainstream headset ecosystem. It would take you a long time to hack something or connect something, would just be really intimidating for regular users. So with official Quest support, full body locomotion hardware gets a little closer to the biggest standalone VR platform, which I think is great. But again, the pattern here is the same. The future of VR hardware looks exciting, physical, and more immersive, but it also looks much more expensive and more enthusiast-focused than a lot of casual users expect. And while all this hardware is getting more ambitious, the software side is still under pressure. We continue the trend of quietly watching one round of layoffs after another unfold. Last week, Combat Waffle Studios, the developers behind Ghost of Tabor, announced layoffs. Ghost of Tabor was not some tiny unknown experiment, but it literally became one of VR's biggest multiplayer success stories, earning tens of millions of dollars. So when even a studio behind such a successful VR extraction shooter has to cut staff, that says something about the current state of the market. It continues the biggest story that I've been reporting on for the past few weeks, and it didn't stop there. A Township Tale is shutting down in July. Quantar is shutting down. Memoriam is leaving full-time development after poor sales. Earlier, Alta also cancelled Reeve, its follow-up project. This is the real uncomfortable side of VR right now. A good idea is not always enough. A passionate community is not always enough. Even a very strong launch may not protect a studio forever if the market is small or expensive to serve and simply hard to grow. If headsets and accessories keep moving up in price, the audience may become more enthusiast-heavy. Enthusiasts are great, but they're not always enough to support every live service game. And for developers, that means that every VR project needs a sharper reason to exist. It needs the right budget, the right audience, the right platform strategy, and some kind of a hook that keeps people coming back, and I just feel like that kills creativity a bit. Everything will soon become so calculated, so analytical, that will only rely on past success long-term stories, and there will be no more experimentation, no creativity, and nothing really new. I mean, that's something that scares me. Still, I didn't want to leave the gaming sign on pure doom, because the VR Game Showcase also gave us a reminder that VR gaming still has interesting things coming. And here are some of my favorites. Payday, Aces High is the obvious headline here. Payday is a known franchise, and Aces High is being built as a VR co-op heist game for up to 4 players. And that's great to hear, especially after weeks of stories about cancellations, shutdowns, and studio cutting back. A Payday VR game will not magically fix the market, but a co-op heist game is a natural fit for VR because planning, grabbing loot, handling weapons, and working out with the crew all feel strong when your body is a part of the game. Then there is Breachers Outbreak. Breachers already has credibility inside VR, and Triangle Factory is expanding that universe into a 4-player co-op zombie extraction shooter. So this is a successful VR studio building a bigger VR franchise from within the medium. And yes, another zombie shooter right after a few of them got cancelled or moved to flat screen. Hot Dogs, Horseshoes, and Hand Grenades 2 is another big one for core VR players. H3VR is basically legendary in PC VR, and is basically taking one of the most respected PC VR concepts and brings it to a wider audience. Korea, IL-2 series is also worth watching. It is a Korean warflight sim with VR support. Flight sims, racing sims, and cockpit games are still some of the clearest examples of what VR does best. And then there is I Am Your Beast VR, which flips the unusual story. I Am Your Beast is an acclaimed flat-screen roguelite, and with a fast shooter built around movements, ambushes, and improvisation, VR could add something real instead of feeling like a forced port. The Rifted Skies also stood out to me because it sounds genuinely built around VR movement. It is an acrobatic parkour roguelite with arm swing, sprinting, climbing, melee combat, deflecting attacks, and upgrades. This is the kind of game that understands VR should not always copy flat-screen design. It's really important to make your whole body a part of that system. There's also Outlanders VR. It's a cozy town-building strategy game, which is great because obviously not every VR game needs guns, zombies, heists, and explosions. Strategy and cozy games can work beautifully in VR when the world feels like a little living diorama in front of you. And beyond new games, there are also signs that some existing VR games are not just active, but thriving. Synth Riders just got a Linkin Park music pack, Beat Saber got a Young Blood shock drop, Trombone Champ Unflattened is getting Disney music, and Maestro is getting Attack on Titan DLC. I actually think that this is one of the healthiest signs in VR gaming right now, because if VR studios cannot always afford massive new releases, then keeping existing games alive becomes even more important. Music packs, licensed DLCs, and surprise content drops give players a reason to come back. They also make VR feel less frozen between big launches. And Linkin Park, Disney, Attack on Titan, these are recognizable names. They give VR games something familiar to pull people back in, especially players who may not follow every indie VR announcement. That, of course, doesn't erase the harder news. Layoffs are still layoffs, shutdowns are still really hard, but it shows that there is this split inside VR gaming right now. Some projects are struggling to survive, while others are leaning into live content, loyal communities, and bigger cultural brands to stay relevant. This may be one of the more realistic paths for VR games in the market, because not every title can be the next giant platform, but many VR games can become places to return to. This is definitely a very strange new phase of XR. The high end is getting more powerful and more expensive, and low end is moving towards smart glasses and AI. And VR gaming is becoming much more selective, where the strongest projects need known IPs, co-ops, sims, physical mechanics, or a really clear reason to exist inside the headset. And yes, I very much want to know how much Steam Frame is going to cost. That price will tell us whether Valve can escape the premium trap or whether the next phase of VR is about to become even more expensive than people feared. I'll be keeping a close eye on how all things develop, especially Steam Frame, so make sure to subscribe if you don't want to miss future updates. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.